We'll be getting underway soon. The players are just goofing a little bit in the lobby. Seems like everyone's on a bio break. So we'll be another minute or two here before we get underway. But everyone is in the lobby. Looks like both teams are ready. Let's get it started. Alright, if you're just tuning in, this is NGS Season 5 Round 4, Storm Division runboiz versus TNC. Gonna be a hype match. Runboiz did win the coin toss. They went with first pick, so we're on TNC's map pick here in Towers of Doom. Game 2 will be Volskaya. Yeah. So, TNC obviously doing very well for themselves this season. They're in first place, I believe, or at least tied for first, something like that. And runboiz here, or the draw boys, as they like to call themselves, have racked up a very impressive number of draws, 7 or 8, I think. And 2-7-1 or something like that. Not too many wins, a lot of draws, not too many losses either, so they are breaking even most of the time. And a little history between these two teams. Nim Avenger and TNC used to be a former teammate of runboiz back when it was Victoria's Secret. Used to main tank for them, now he's offlane for TNC, obviously going very well in that transition for him. Gonna see the matchup here. I think it's Sormir maybe in the offlane. Gonna be interesting. Kerrigan ban. Her rework's been really cool. Definitely, probably a little overtuned, or at least some of her talents are a little overtuned. Especially that level 16 painful spikes is a little ridiculous. But she's neat. Banned here. I've been seeing her banned a lot of my games. I hope she'll make it through. We have a Zeratul Genji, then a white Kerrigan white main ban. So mobility assassins being taken out in the first wave, and then melee and support in the next. So I'm not really sure the white main bans. I guess she's hard to deal with unless you have the right team. Who to root for, veteran wings? I just root for everyone. These guys are gonna play hard, play well, maybe do some clowny stuff, and draft during the game. Depending, runboiz just basically are ongoing. They just never stop having fun. TNC, I don't know them as well. Maybe they're a little more serious. I just know Nem Avenger, but he's a really cool guy. Great player. We'll see what they can do here tonight. Obviously, TNC in no danger of not making it to playoffs. Ooh, Abathur Maiev. Interesting opening. Abathur expected opener for a map like TOD. But Abathur Maiev, pretty interesting opener. That being said, Maiev is Titan Kings on runboiz. Most played, or at least one of the most played heroes. It was their dominant strategy in Season 4, just grab Maiev and roll face. So this could be a bit of a deny pick coming out of TNC, and of course, they must be comfortable with it themselves. Dahaka Deckard. Okay. Very curious to see what they're going to follow up the backline damage with on runboiz. Now that, because they have this Dahaka Diablo combo. Diablo can go in from the front, Dahaka from the side or back, assuming there's a bush nearby, which there should be. And Deckard just layering on the CC. Deckard Diablo, not necessarily the best combo, but certainly, you know, there's not an anti-synergy per se. Unless Diablo Shadow charges someone out of a Deckard seal of scrolling or whatever. But I don't expect these teams to make this sort of mistakes. We had a Phoenix and Jaina ban, so more backline is being taken out. Here's the Murd and Greyman, okay. This makes more sense. I was curious what they were going to pair with the Abathur. More so than the Maiev. Greyman, Murden, and Maiev, though, were all excellent targets for the Abathur hat, and Maiev, Greyman are both pretty solid targets for the Abathur clone, assuming that Heroics picked. We have the Cassia here from runboiz. Coming Cho'Gall game? I don't think so. I don't know any Storm Div team that runs Cho'Gall. not that I know them all, but I haven't seen it. I'd actually be interested stat-wise to like ping the NGS Storm Div chat, see who's see if anyone's run it. Liming and Cassia. This is really an amalgamation of like ability / damage types for runboiz here. Not really what I would expect with a first pick Diablo, frankly. But it is mobile. Liming can move. Cassia can get move speed, or you know, she has her short ranged fend. Dahaka, of course. I feel like there's maybe some conflicting ideas in their draft on the side of runboiz. I say maybe. I'm not saying there is outright. I'm just very curious to see what their exact game plan is, how they want to pick these fights. For the side of TNC, it's pretty straightforward. You know, they have a pretty heavy run-at-you team. Maiev, Murd, and Greyman carries them essentially for melee. Greyman, most of the time, you know, wants to Worgen in after getting some shoots. Shots. And of course, Abathur there to global soak during the objectives. We'll see if TNC feels compelled to stall at all, just to get Abathur value, or they'll just... I don't think they want to stall, though, with this team. Because I don't think it'll go that well for them on stalling, because they don't have poke. They're all in melee. You know, they can't... this Liming Cassia can just throw lightning bolts and orbs at them, and Deckard can throw... Well, he's not really going to throw CC without follow-up, but the point is, TNC are all in on dogpiling. Haha, the Greyman. This is Maiev. But they have some things to play around with, because they have pretty solid initiation with just Murden as needed in this follow-up from like Kiers and Greyman. Maiev, of course, she gets a tether or later. There's no real combo for Warden's Cage, though. I think she's just going to go Isolation Disc, or whatever that's called. Yeah, I'd be actually pretty surprised to see Warden's Cage here. Unless they're doing Warden's Cage into 7-sided Strike, but that's a little clunky. So I don't really expect that either. We'll see what the Charism does. I do expect like an Iron Fist Kara, but maybe with Palm. It'll be cool to see how these teams talent, but let's get it started. Game 1 in this Best of 2 series. runboiz versus TNC. In the blue corner, it's runboiz. Shredded Wind on Diablo, Rexpa. On the Liming, Titans King on the Cassia, Taki. on the Deckard Cain is Soromir on the Dahaka, off lane indeed. Nem Avenger doing the literal worm here on the Abathur, and this is Hunter CJ on the Martin, is Netball 11 on the Maiev, and wait, oh, there's a Netball and a Metball, that's confusing. Netball 11 on the Karazim, and Satat on the Greymane. Do we have the Iron Fist? Feast on Fear for Diablo, interesting. Makes sense though, charge strikes, of course. Abathur's already top lane. Team skirmish here. Going on the Martin. Put a quick door toss out, he'll be fine. Does get a little Deckard CC, but no real follow-up onto this Mura, and of course his passive. Can always regen him. He is going to be looking to stack those Storm Bolts. I would expect this out of the TNC draft. Metball going in on Rexpa, trying to munch him. Big cluster here, but again, this favors TNCs, I think. But Thunder CJ maybe the first to go down actually, or even Netball 11. Not, they collapse, but it was on a Diablo. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Murden almost goes down there. Runboiz looking for the first blood counter. They almost get it. Titan's King falling pretty low to the Iron Fist of Kara. This Diablo though, I don't think he wants to be here. That was a little curious. He just kind of said, tether me, Maiev, please first blood me, and she went, okay. First blood, but this Dahaka so far doing a nice job top against the Abbey, pressuring up against the lane, forcing him back there. I would expect TNC to try and bully this rotation with their draft, but they do need to make it work. The collapse has to work. The tether or some sort of CC has to go off, and they need to punch a target. We saw them try and do it here, but it was a little awkward on the Diablo. And they were just getting bullied by the Cassian main damage is how all that started. Titan's King maybe going to get tethered here. Does not. I think he actually got blinded by Cassia. So the tether didn't go off. Could be what happened. Nice tether here by Maiev. That's a triple. CC out from Deckard. We'll root them in place. Martin, though, gets popped like a balloon by Rexpa. You're not going to have any of it? Oh, Satat goes in hard, trying to get the Diablo. Cannot clean up, but he has plenty of dashes to get himself out. 1-1 here now. Both teams level 4. Let's check on this top lane matchup. Dahaka looks like he's trying to double soak, being pursued by Greymane and Maiev. He could actually go down here if he's not careful, depending if they can manage to CC him back. Looks like they're not going to get it. This does buy Abathur some room to sit out in the lane and soak it up. Triple Shrine here. I anticipate both teams to trade top and then highly contest bottom, and you can already see TNC moving over here. But interesting thing is Dahaka might be able to contest this on the Abathur. We'll see how that goes for them. So Abathur's not even trying with this. They peeled the Greymane. I feel like this is a little... I feel like this is an odd read by runboiz. Dahaka could have contested that. We'll see how this goes though. Trade for now. Runboiz though, pulling them off bottom. Netball in a lot of trouble. Gets the Spirit of Vengeance out. Martin body block for now. Will. Dwarf toss to safety. Deckard. Capping the volume. Martin doesn't have that dwarf toss to try and go in and cap it. And interrupt the cap. Spirit of Vengeance is also used. This will be 2 going the way. I think TNC expected what I thought, that Dahaka would contest if Abathur went for the point, but Dahaka didn't contest at all. Fight going on here bottom. Titan's King in a bit of trouble, getting pummeled by that Iron Fist. Satat going in hard. Everyone's collapsing. I feel like someone's going to die here on the retreat, and it looks like it's going to be Greymane, overpowered by the Diablo. The Deckard CC was also there in case he tried to make a run for it. Not even needed though. Soromir actually comes bottom, looking to clean up the escape. Not going to happen though. 2-1, 36-32. Even a slight EXP lead for runboiz here. Going to come out strong. TNC picked an interesting draft, but they did really get themselves into a bit of a corner. They're almost all in. The Abathur gives them some flexibility as the game goes on with the clone or just the general global pressure, but with a counter global on Dahaka, Abathur's got to be careful. If they do see him channeling a point, Dahaka could burrow in and maybe kill the Abbey, which is probably why they didn't go for it earlier. I know I was talking about it. Maya here getting gone on quite heavily. And Netball 11, Murden overpowered for that Dwarf toss out. I'm seeing a lot of the abilities from TNC being used defensively. The Karazhan Dash, the Dwarf Toss, the Maya Spirit of Vengeance. They're not really... No tongue rip. Yeah. They're not really using them offensively the way they want to on this draft, but there is another altar bottom. Both teams are 7+.
The altars have risen.
No particular standout talents. Here comes Maev, maybe. No, Spirit of Vengeance is out. Earth Ally also out at the moment. I feel like TNC need to not posture this split, because if they get an opening and collapse, they're not going to be near enough to each other necessarily to capitalize on it. Abathur does have the mule top. Morgan's coming in here with the Abbey hat. See if they can get it done. Poking on Diablo up front, who's nearly at full souls. Pretty tanky. Overpowered just to get some Feast on Fear. Max health. Rexput channeling for now. They stun him off. Oh. Spirit of Vengeance comes in. Will be dodged. Combos out. Murden getting a little hurt. Gonna need to back off. Maybe heal off the passive. Diablo's going on him. Karazhan's trying to move in, but looks like the rest of runboiz are, excuse me, the rest of the TNC not interested. They're gonna back it up. Lose yet another altar. Runboiz here looking pretty good up front. We'll see the level 10 power spikes for both teams, of course, will be big. That's probably where TNC is really waiting for things to pop off. Maybe they'll open with this Cursed Bullet into 7-sided or something and look to really just make this Diablo miserable. But they don't have any big like battlefield control buttons. They're all just individual things. Other than Warden's Gauge, I guess, is the only thing, but there's no combo with it, so it's not that scary. Meanwhile, we have, you know, the Decker, Stay a While and Listen, or the Lornado, the Diablo, Apocalypse, a Lightning Breath, Gleaming Wave of Force, the Lightning, Ball Lightning from Cassie. There's just a lot more AoE impact effects from the set of runboizes in terms of heroic possibilities, and that's just going to make their lives generally easier. Twin Grab from Stormir will miss, does show up trying to secure the spot in fort. Definitely looks like they're going to get it. Abathur Mule comes in. This is a little too late, my friend. Maev might be able to clean up here. Gets a nice tether. A lot of 10 and 9 stand. Murden, though, is just forced to run. Fort's already taken. Looks like the Maev will go down. Nice attempt by her. And ho-ho! Murden goes down, and here's a Valkyrie ult by the Vala. Gonna snag Metball as Greymane can the Doge get out. He can, he's down. There was a snap pickup from Titan's King on the Cassia. Saw an opportunity, just took for an extra kill, grabbed the Valkyrie. So we do have the threat of the pick now as well. No ball lightning needed. Sadat here bullied out as they grab the siege camp. Look to walk in the sappers for extra shots. Abathur gets a little room top. See if they can walk these in. Or will they bully them out? Titan's King maybe get pulled in here. No Deckard CC holding him in place, but he may have stepped up a little too far. He's not looking that healthy. Lornado comes out though. It is a 7-sided. It's on multiple targets. Not really going to be what they want. Rex almost going down to tough, but this fort is under runboiz control and it is slowing down their chase, excuse me, so not going to happen. Abathur now moves middle. We've got the clone. We saw the 7-sided. That is indeed the containment disc. I knew it wasn't called isolation disc. The Avatar, and we did get to go for the throat, so no Cursed Bullet. And of course, the Lightning Breath Isolation. We saw the Valkyrie earlier. Decker just saw the Lornado. And Li Ming Wave of Force. Curious for how long they want to do this with the Haka here, because they aren't really gaining other value on the map. Camps are up in... not that soon. Okay, their own camp's up soon, though. But they'll have to peel a few heroes back. We'll see if TNC can bully. This is the problem, though. Without the range damage, they don't have poke to clear the waves. They don't have poke to chip away at the fort, bottom lane, for example. We see Greymane top, though. I'm going to do a number on these towers. Open up this top lane a bit for Abathur. But the rest of TNC is just basically stuck in their base. Greymane at least claimed a tower. Yeah, that far behind in XP thanks to this Abathur and some of these other movements. But runboiz in a really good spot here. 13 on the horizon. And of course they're up quite a few towers. And then they got some sapper walk-ins as well. Dahaka here getting zoned out a little bit. Player in for Sakara. Everyone's ultimates are up, so we should see a very big skirmish here. Either actually went bottom. Diablo looking for an opening, not going to find one. Looks like they'll just trade out altars. I'm actually a little surprised TNC didn't start channeling theirs sooner, but seems like it won't get interrupted. Big combo here into the Martin. Orbs will miss though. But runboiz will be happy to trade this. They are massively out on points, 15 I believe, so they're going to be in, if all things just continue like this, they will win the game. This is very aggressive 7-sided from Satat on 2 targets, not really what you're looking for. The ultimate looks kind of weak unless you isolate 1 target. It does some damage without the team actually following up. Containment disc here on the Diablo, they really want this Sapper camp. Here comes a Valkyrie right out though. Pulls in the Charism. He's eating a lot of damage. Charism's just gone. Here comes the Lightning by the end of Lornado. Trapping in the Murden. He can't get out. He's trying to Dwarf Toss. Lornado's blocking him up. runboiz cleaning up here. Murden on the run. Only has so many places to go before he will fall. Dog was chasing the Maiev. Very aggressive move by TNC. They used the Lornado. No, excuse me. They used the containment disc and the 7-sided just to secure a sapper camp, which frankly didn't really do anything. I feel like they should have been spending their time reclaiming this fort at least, trying to get control of bottom, trying to get towards 13. Super aggro invades on the enemy sapper camp using multiple ultimates. Avatar was used as well. Not really what you're looking for from TNC. runboiz giving them a run for their money at the moment. Netball pulled in, 7-sided yet again. Lornado actually came out quite nice, bopping multiple heroes here. That's a clone on Greymane, I believe. We'll see if they can get anything done here on the Diablo. Out comes away before he's on the run. Remember, this fort is under their control. He will overpower the clone. That's not the real Nem Avenger. Of course not, because he's the Avatar. Maiev almost goes down. Double altar here, though, and Dahaka's in prime position, waiting to see if Abathur or someone will come up. Well, someone is indeed coming up, and it's most of the team of TNC. Sormir might be in a little bit of trouble. He's not careful. He's about to be found out here by the Maiev. He's just going to dig. Maiev does not notice. Can grab out here under the Murden. Now comes Avatar. Here's the Lornado at the end. Big combo by leaning hits on 2. Going to force them out. Here comes the Valkyrie. Will miss. Here's the Lightning Breath though. Murden forced to Dwarf Toss away. Fend forward by Titan's King. Smells blood in the water. Wants to chase. No catch available. More altars going the way of runboiz. TNC are just kind of auto-losing here. If they aren't careful, 1 boss and 1 more altar, and game is done though. 8-1, 14-13, soon to be 15-13. They're moving on the boss with this talent advantage. They have the isolation, wave of forest deckard. Lornado will be up soon. They have a lot of tools to prevent TNC from coming in. TNC's bottom anyway. This is free boss. This was TNC's map pick, by the way, so they picked this map. This was their idea. It's a little bit of an unusual decision to pick this. Like, this may be the kind of team you might see on Towers of Doom, or even in Infernal Shrines, like more of a heavy rotate map, where you have options to pick people more often, more flanking opportunities, more wiggle room to move around the map and look for these sort of invades and jump, gank plays, goon squad style. They aren't really finding it here in Towers of Doom. The map doesn't lend itself that well to this style of play. Should have been maybe in trouble here. Gets 7-sided down, about half health. They're on the chase. Doesn't look like that. Are they going to get him? I don't know. Dahaka's not even making any moves down. This will be a full soul burn. Indeed it is. Okay, they just kind of let him go, but they had 2 heroes on the Sapper camp, so bit of breathing room for TNC, if you want to call it that. They're 1 altar away from losing, or in about, 4 minutes, the next boss. Game is over. No mule to repair their core here. They're in a decent spot to try and make a comeback, but 16 is coming in for runboiz. The Diablo's weak right now, soul-wise. That's the only boon they have going for them. 7-sided, not up. Go for the throat, also not available. See what they can do. It is do or die. They don't have a choice. Oh, there's 2 altars. I wasn't even paying attention to that. So it looks like the Murden is just stalling bottom for now. Out comes the Avatar. Here's a Lightning Breath. Lornado will miss. Here comes Sormir though. Here's a clone onto the Greymane. Isolation did hit on the real Greymane, so he's a little stuck there. Here's a big Valkyrie into a Shadow Charge. Ooh, look, people are about to start popping. Down goes Charism, down goes Murden. They do clean up the Greymane, excuse me, Greymane cleans up the Dahaka, but what cost? Down goes Maiev. Nem trying to make things work here. Last man standing as B-steps come out from Titan's King. Victory B-steps indeed. B-step cam, ladies and gentlemen. Titan's King. Your hero. Look at the damage. He deserved those B-steps.
Like all the other heroes.
Very well played by runboiz. I had doubts about their draft, but not doubts, but just wasn't really sure what they were doing with it, but it looked strong for sure. Turns out they were just gonna bully people with Diablo and Dahaka, lock them down with Deckard, and beat them up with Leeming and Cassia. Seems pretty obvious in hindsight. What was less obvious was TNC. They picked this map, they picked this draft. They opened with Abathur Maiev, which I thought was a little strange, not the Abathur, the Maiev. Not traditionally the sort of draft you'll see with Maiev, at least in my opinion. Heroes can do whatever they want. Players can do whatever they want, obviously, but I'm not sure it's exactly what Maiev wants. But that being said, that wasn't the issue. The issue was TNC just didn't seem to really play their draft, other than maybe in the first minute they got a kill, tried for some more, and after that just sort of got beaten back by runboiz and out macroed, out camped. They made some overly aggressive moves as well, but I felt like they weren't playing their draft properly, so never really got to see a more competitive game. The Abathur definitely kept them in the game XP-wise, but 13-3 here in the end. And I believe in the very end of the game they were a few levels down. Interesting idea, veteran wings. I don't mind it. It's just the execution wasn't there. We saw, Kerzim just ripping seven-sided a lot. They use this isolation disc and seven-sided just secure a sapper camp. Then they're surrounded. They lose 3. It's just some awkward moves from TNC. With these sorts of all-in melee drafts, gank squad style, you have to play to the strength of it, which is keep picking fights, but in your favor, and didn't really happen. But we will take a short break as we move on to game 2 here, and we update the score. Let's see, runboiz are up 1. Let's see if they will be the domination boys or the draw boys tonight. Find out soon. Gravesville is waiting with a party of 6. Thank you, sir. Gravesville, welcome everyone else. Game 2 will be underway here in a minute or 2. Volskaya Foundry incoming. Don't encourage them. Oh, come on. Of course I'm going to encourage them. They just won the game. I mean, come on, B-stepping isn't... If you call B-stepping toxic, that's a little ridiculous. In my opinion. Let me see. First draft should be TNC. Yes, it is. Rexpa's flirting in chat, everybody. Beware your DMs. Little music here while we wait. Alright, looks like we're back just in time as the music ends for round 2. At least TNC's ready. They wanna redeem themselves here in game 2 on Volskaya. Gotta say, game 1, pretty disappointing performance from them. I'm sure they're disappointed in themselves. Let's see what they can get here done in round 2. If you're just joining us, this is Storm Division, round 4, runboiz versus TNC, or team name change. runboiz took game 1 in a pretty darn convincing fashion. TNC drafted something a little unusual for Towers of Doom, did not work out for them at all. They also didn't play to their draft strengths at all, so never got to see kind of where they wanted to go with it. Let's see what happens here in game 2. But this is runboiz map pick. See what they can get done. They have the curse of the draw boys upon them. Highest draws in, at least in Storm Div, maybe the entire league. I haven't checked the other divs. That would be funny though, if it were true. Need a stat person to check that out. Genji, Zeratul bans here. Same bans from both teams so far. TNC banned the Kerrigan this time. Not runboiz. Let's see if they do the reverse and ban the white main. She's pretty good in Volskaya. You're forced to fight over areas. Will be a Mephisto ban. Interesting. Also good, of course, in areas you're forced to repeatedly fight. His trait gets a lot of value on the cooldown reductions. So what do you have available? Deckard's available. Alex Strauss is available, of course. We'll see what TNC prioritize. Of course, you know, Urel is in the pool. I'm not sure what they prioritize role-wise first in the first picks. Haven't seen them play enough. Gonna be the Tyrande. Okay. So, to me, this means, well, what it should mean anyway, is that they're looking to do single target blow up. That lends itself well to Tyrande's kit with the Lunar Flare and Hunter's Mark. Though I've seen teams pick the Tyrande and then proceed to just not draft anything related to single target blow up or burst. So, curious to see where they go with the Tyrande. runboiz grab Diablo Urel. Diablo looked good in game 1. I believe that was by Shredded Wind. Urel here should be by Soramir. Played the Dahaka last game. Okay, I'm really curious to see what TNC does with this Tyrande. Okay, Nubrak and Malthael. Nubrak, alright. Malthael's basically in response to Urel, is heavily favored in that matchup. And the map's decently big enough where you get some bully room in your lane. It's not like Tomb of the Spider Queen where the team can just zip down in 2 seconds and help you out. So that'll be good for them. I'm a little concerned about Malthael on the point, though. I know it's good in the 1v1 matchup on Urel, but I feel like on the points themselves, unless they delete somebody, it's going to be really hard for him to get in there. Urel and Diablo can really bully a Malthael, and this is just the 2 frontliners, so to speak of the backline follow-up, which runboiz showed game 1 was quite capable in the Li Ming and the Cassia from Rexpa and Titan's King, respectively. There's the white main ban, and the Jaina ban yet again, so either TNC just plays a lot of Jaina, or runboiz really don't like fighting the hero. I'm not sure which it is.
The wait is over. So it begins.
Here's the Deckard and the Cassia, so already 3 out of 5 same picks for runboiz. Deckard makes a lot of sense here. I'm not really sure TNC needed to first pick the Tyrande, because I don't think runboiz runs the hero at all, and no one really bans it. To me, it gives away your hand a bit, but runboiz also isn't necessarily drafting to counter it per se either. Raynor, Li Ming, okay. Okay. Pretty interesting. Not bad. They're going to have this Nubrak burrow into Tyrande, arrow into Mark, into the Raynor damage, into the Ming combo. People should explode, but those people are Urel and Diablo most likely. They're pretty tanky.
The Deckard saves aren't immediate. Deckard's healing only really looks good when you have some time to set up. So if TNC can get the jump, force a lot of aggro up front.
Here we go.
Chromie, an old Rexpa special. Damn. She got gutted, kicked to the gutter. Poor old Chromie. Blizzard did buff her, and they buffed her a little more again, sort of under the radar. So is Chromie back? Can Rexpa bring Chromie back single-handedly here in Stormdave? Let's find out. Here in Game 2, runboiz versus TNC. I like the drafts a lot from both teams. The idea is a lot more flexible now from TNC this time around. All in melee with Abathur shenanigans. But this Anubrak main solo tank is mildly concerning. But the backline's pretty flexible, right? There's no real threat to the backline. There's no one going to be hopping around in there other than maybe Yarel on point. But, Leeming has the teleport. Raynor, of course, has his move speed and his bullseye knockback. Malthael has a variety of tools to get around through move speed or Wraith Strike. And, of course, Anubrak and Bros. The team's pretty mobile. And, of course, Tronda can get the extended Lunar Flare at level 4 to easily follow up from long range. And most people go that option anyway. Total side note, I just noticed Bam Bam has a lot of new icons. I'll have to play around with this later. I think the ease of execution is also in runboiz' favor here. Once again, a little more execution heavy required from TNC to get the fights they're looking for, but we'll find out. In the blue corner, it's runboiz looking to be the Dom boys, not the Draw boys this series against TNC. It's Shredded Wind yet again on Diablo, Soramir on the Yarel, Titan's King yet again on the Cassia, Taki yet again on the Deckard, Rexpa on the Chromie, an old comfort pick, the captain of runboiz. It's Nim Avenger in the Malthael doing a dance here for us. Candy Cane Malthael. Satat on the Tyrande, Hunter CJ on the Anubrak, and I can't tell who Metball and Netball's on. I'm gonna have to pull it up here. Netball on the Raynor and Metball on the Leeming. Chromie looking to be getting the extra Q stacks with mounting sands. Trunda, of course. And actually, that isn't actually what I expected. But makes sense versus. I thought you might go for the stun removal. Combo's out here in Titan's King. Is he dead? No. Saved by the Deckard for now. Is the Nubarak dead? Is it a counter kill? No. They get the first blood on the Cassia. They clean up the kill after, but first blood goes to TNC. I believe they got first blood last game, if I'm not mistaken. Or no, they got first blooded in return. And then they got to pick up later, so. They trade Cassia for Nubarak. Nubarak doesn't hold up too well under fire. TNC, pretty darn squish, means a lot of damage. Yeah, that's basically what I was getting at. I had concerns about their squishiness factor, but they have a lot of mobility, which means they don't necessarily need high peel, because their backline can reposition pretty quickly. And there's no backline dive per se from runboiz. It's mostly frontline, like short range dive from Diablo Yarel. And they're looking to follow up with this Deckard, Cassie also short range, so they're looking to fight at close range, so should be fine. Though this Anubrak, he will get poked pretty heavily by this Cassia and the Bronze Talons from the Chromie. Holds up well against magic damage. Invade here from the runboiz. In comes the Anubrak. His Titan's King gone too far. He's just trying to feed. Gets the Hunter's Mark. Down he goes, but out goes Malthael. Squishy indeed. Soramir is zoning out Netball here, but they're going in, and a nice long range flare from Tyrande, but Diablo actually stole the turret, by the way. Soramir in a lot of trouble here as he gets gone by Raynor, and the Anubrak will go down to Jimmy. That was a 1-for-2 exchange in favor of TNC. Anubrak is going for Regen Master. So I guess they're basically supplementing, just trying to super tank him up. Can Tyrande remove Rewind? No. No. It acts like it removes an existing stun. It's not an actual cleanse. It doesn't grant unstoppable. It just removes an existing stun or rooter. whatever it's. Oh, this isn't what it does. Yeah, not that one. I forget what it's called. Moves an existing stun slow and maybe even silence. I actually don't recall if it specifies silence. It works just like Malfurion's Nature's Cure. Same idea. Shredded Wind here goes in. He just might be in a whole world of hurt. Arrow goes out. Actually going to miss. They thought he'd step up that way. The Malfield damage is on top of in here, and down he'll go. TNC get the pick they're looking for, but will they pay for it with Nem's life? Indeed they will, as he was just out a little too far. Might even pay for it with more. Titan's King was stepping up hard, trying to get some cleanup kills here. Nearly gets them. Teams trading kills. Both traded camps. Of course, this bottom turret camp went the way. Did they still have a turret? They used it. Titan is trying his hardest to feed. He's trying really hard this game on Cassia, and he's already died twice, so he's looking good. The old joke on Victoria's Secret was he had to die 5 times or more for them to win the game. And it was pretty true. It was weird. Like, when he didn't feed, they would lose. So, maybe that's the problem. Maybe they haven't been feeding Titan enough. Nice spell armor here on the Anubrak plus his own shield. Will keep him healthy against this Ming poke. Well, for now, Rainer's stepping up front here. There's no real true front line with this Anubrak. He's getting poked down by the Chromie. They just kind of have to go in. Nice orb from the Li Ming, though. Malfield looking to spread. The Reaper's Marquis stuck on the conveyor belts. Might be in trouble. Anubrak's going in hard. I don't expect him to ult here, frankly, so they better get a counter kill. Indeed, the Anubrak is dead, but no counter kill yet available. They're trying. Love spread damage. CC here will be dodged by them. Nice jukes as well by the Tyrande. Rainer, though, in a bit of trouble. Surmir getting beat up. Nice arrow as they come back in. Nem Avenger looking to make something happen. Blinds out on Rainer. Diablo's in. Surmir and Diablo so low, but down goes Li Ming. Kaboom. Nem Avenger left to his lonesome. Going to try to fight out. Tyrande attempts a long-range arrow to peel. Not going to happen, though. First Protector. Lunar Blaze. First Protector goes the way of runboiz. They're up a level. They're up 2 kills after a fierce battle over the point. So look to just clear up the towers in standard fashion. Move top. The goal is to get the towers, gate, and the well if possible. Half health on this Protector. The Hunter's Mark from Tyrande will also help clean this up. Assuming she can get in range. It'll help. It's 15 minus armor, so remove this 10. Just being the minus 5 amp, which still helps. Malfield versus Uriel bottom. So we're seeing a little bit of the TNC struggles here. Oh, we got to pause. That they can't hover, and we talked about this game 1. They didn't have a good team. They just sat there really. Li Ming can toss, poke, but Rainer, Tyrande, like everyone else, basically needs to wait for a Anubrak to go in. So much blood, yeah. We had to have 10 kills in like 4 minutes. And we just saw they're just eating this Chromie poke over and over, right? And the Deckard CC, and they're, Uriel's a lot more free than this Malfield, or almost completely free to hover and play around the edges of the fight, jump in, weave in and out. Like, again, Malfield can't do anything until Zanubrak goes in, and then he follows up. And we saw it, and it was close. And if I think there was some slight miscommunication because we saw the Anubrak go in, and I immediately said, okay, he's dead. He's not living. They got to get a counter kill, but since the burrow range is so far, and he might have even taken the extended. No, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't. But so he's going for the tank here, the shield, and the Regen Master, bit of barbs, and his W is spike, whatever shield thing. Sorry, I don't know the name of it right now. Did get buffed by a second. Yeah, so they got to go all in, and if they could line that up together, I think maybe they'll get some kills. Looks like everyone's ready here. Oh, waiting. Okay. Waiting on ours here. Let's look at some numbers while we wait. Actually, that's in the way. 16k for Malfield, 17k for Cassia. Li Ming at about 13.5. Chromie, 16.7. Let's look at some quest stuff. Why doesn't it show here? Some bugs stuff going on. That's weird. Maybe it's because it's paused. Not sure what's going on there. So this Protector is basically zoned out. Got some value top, but not all the value they're looking for, so I expect runboiz by 4, or by the time the top spawns, they're going to want to add a little pressure up here, at least clean up this tower and this gate, trying to add some potential pressure less defensive opportunities for TNC if they're on the chase. Though their reach isn't that crazy, but they just did more the CC. We'll probably see the Valkyrie again from Titan's King. Worked out pretty well for them last time. Though Ball Lightning on these points could be pretty devastating, especially with something like Lightning Breath to prevent them from moving anywhere. Normally you Delta Split off Ball Lightning. But if you're super slowed, not going to happen. Sormir is actually in some trouble here, by the way, bottom. We last saw him all the way here in front of the towers, playing under the towers. A little deep, and he's not looking too healthy here. The Reaper's marked by Nem on him, and help is nowhere near not available, so could see another kill go Teensy's way after the unpause. I haven't been watching this fight, so I don't know Urel's cooldowns. If she has a leap available, should be fine, because they're both conveyor belting up this way. And maybe Urel's looking that way, but right now she's body blocked, so I'm very curious to see what that happens. I'm actually unclear what we're waiting on for. 2 people DC'd same time. Alright, apparently 2 people DC'd. I only saw the one, so. So what do TNC need to do? They aren't, Oh, looks like everyone's ready now. Okay, so Sormir may be disconnected. That was the issue. Seems to be. Alright, here's the countdown. Let's get back in the action. Sormir bottom, boops back the Malthael and has the instant mount from Divine Steed. Well played. Oh, Protector comes back top. Apparently most of TNC rotated middle, so Protector just walked back up and totally cleans out the front up top. Not really what TNC were looking for, I feel, off that play. Because the Protector was somewhere all the way over here, and I just turned around once they saw the heroes were gone. Almost a level lead here for the runboiz. Of course, they'll be looking to push towards level 10. TNC on the back foot this game. They're doing a lot better for themselves compared to game 1. They already have more kills. This game they only got 3 kills and they're already up to 4. So if they can coordinate a little better with this Anubrak, I feel like that'll go well for them, or at least it'll go better. Can't have them be disjointed though. This Anubrak will just get blown up. Then they'll be at a disadvantage. And of course these level 10s are going to be big, especially with the Anubrak 10. He can get a web. Look to web a really pesky target. Could be the Deckard, could even be one of these frontliners like Diablo or Urel. As they dive in, we'll see what they do. Posturing around the support camp now, while runboiz do their siege. So they will be a little late to this. Indeed, they will give it up. Oh no! Doggy's trying to pick it up. Not gonna happen. Diablo goes in and he steals it! It was a steal, by the way, and level 10s are here for runboiz. Out comes the Lord NATO. Here's the Lightning Breath. Nem Avenger is in there. He's just probably a dead man. Satat maybe gonna get cleaned up by Urel. Indeed, she does. Has Malthael down too. Nubrak will burrow to safety, but oh, what a goof. What an unfortunate goof. Oh, and they're not done. They get the hook onto the bug, and the exterminators are here. The Ladybug and Nubrak goes down. Feels Batman. Toronto was clicking on the pulse. Just misclicking, I guess. We saw her hover there multiple seconds. And Diablo goes, oh, hey, free initiation, free pulse. Thank you very much. Biotic emitter is going to be very happily in the runboiz' hands as they now pressure top. They'll definitely clean out this well and start pressuring the fort ahead of this objective spawn, and there's not really anything TNC can do yet. Now they're 10. We do actually have the slowing sands from Chromie, so there's that available as well to slow people down further. And of course we did see the Valkyrie already from the Cassie and the Lornado and the Lightning Breath. So Ardent Defender, of course, for Urel. We get the web. Raynor took the Raynor's Raider. We actually have Starfall from Toronto, so looking to just be super aggro, lock him up with this Anubrak, drop the Starfall damage, going with the Malthael. And they also went Disintegrate on Ming, so they're really just all in on trying to blow up a target, maybe get a last rites execute. There isn't any particular saves other than Urel with Ardent Defender, though they can time that. And of course they probably have Potion of Shielding on Deckard, but we'll see how that goes. They're going in here. Malthael eat a trap.
Nice arrow comes up from Tehran, of course slowing Sands, and the Deckard Seal will stall any further movement by TNC. But they're, you know, they do need to make something happen here though. Otherwise they'll get their team. But Anubrak just up here on the point alone, getting beat up right now. Not looking too healthy. Force the overcharge out, seal out, might just hit Nem. Indeed it does. Chromie looking to poke him down. Here comes Rainer. Oh, he might just get locked down. He did actually got body blocked by Terrain there. Nem Avenger not looking healthy. He saw this biotic emitter. Here comes the Starfall, including the slowing Sands. That was a web onto Taki. And ew, Diablo goes down to that. Oh, he did use the biotic emitter, but that was a full soul burn. And here's the Ardent Defender from Urel, but they aren't really hitting her other than with the Death Shroud. An overall victory for TNC comes out here. Diablo got a little too big for his britches. Goes in too deep without the team follow-up where they were zoned. Gets killed, at least uses the emitter last moment. So there was no falling into the enemy hands, even though he stole it from them in the first place. Looks like they're gonna back up here for the moment. What? I don't know what they're doing. Okay. I guess they just decided to chill. Maybe look for a fight. Indeed, they'll get it. Taki way out here, but the combo misses and he just walks away. Here's the tornado. Hunter CJ now in deep in enemy territory. Gets walled in by the Diablo. Gets a nice double stun, but he cannot survive. Down he goes. Satat now in trouble. Gets hooked back. TNC falling apart here on the positioning. Getting cleaned up by runboiz, who will happily take those picks. Grab another support camp, and Urel's just camping here in AFK land. TNC looking shaky tonight. Don't know what it is. Maybe it's nerves, maybe it's comms. We saw them win a really good fight and then just sort of walk middle, seek control of the point, and try to pick a fight here, which looked alright. It looked good at the start, but unfortunately the Deckard was just like one unit out of range. The arrow misses, the Leeming combo misses. Couldn't lock him down enough. And then Lonado comes out and the fight just doesn't look good. Nubrak's in too deep. The Tyrande gets Valkyried. Top 4 goes down for runboiz. 2-level lead, 11 to 5. TNC, they do have a turret. I would expect them to largely ignore middle, considering bottom is the next battlefield. Indeed they do. They just go down, they're going to look to clean up the well and then pressure the fort. Tyrande and Leeming aren't here, by the way. A little strange why they were that hard. And Nubrak getting gone on. It does burrow to safety, though. He's alright. Let's have a look at some talents. Have a brief reprieve. Malfield does have his own unstoppable. They're going here. Starfall is out. Nem looking to poke. Protector's almost dead, but still pretty healthy. They're going in. And Nubrak, though, not looking too good. He has the web. They're going to look to web somebody here. Last right's on Diablo, but he wasn't even close to going down. Maybe Nem was expecting some more damage. Here comes the web. Excuse me, here comes the Valkyrie as they clean up 3. Almost 4 in Met ball there, excuse me. He drops down to about 100 HP and taps. runboiz, they're doing it, ladies and gentlemen of the Twitch chat. And they're stomping face here on Volskaya. They got a lot of their same heroes from game 1. And they're just performing cleanly. They're engaging, they're counter-engaging. TNC is just kind of looking lost this series. They drafted a little unusually game 1, but it still had, you know, possibilities. Didn't really play to them. Game 2, they showed a lot of life in the first 5 minutes, but since then, or I guess they had this really nice fight up here, so maybe in the first 10 minutes, they're just making strange decisions. Backing off points, splitting. Again, just their main problem seems to not be staying together. We're seeing a lot of splitting up. And maybe not accounting for this Cassia Valkyrie ult. Really, it's been used 2 or 3 times to great effect. Secured an extra pick off every time so far. Game 1 also, you saw it used well by the Titans King. Not the, well, I guess he is the Titans King, but by Titans King. Of course, there's almost about a 2.5 level lead. 2.5 level lead for runboiz. Next point is bottom. Bottom fort's already gone, so in a sense, TNC have some more leeway to soak. They have a long way to go before they hit 16, honestly. And runboiz, I wouldn't be surprised if they pick a fight even after picking up this biocut emitter, or at least look for a fight. There's nothing else really to do other than they could shove out middle if they really felt like it. It is about 2/3 health. Owl Healer from TNC will scout. Titans King with some B steps, just saying, hey, I see it. I like this move from TNC, but they grab the well and back it up. Nice play. And they're scouting with the Raider. This is nice, you know, they're showing they are a high-level team, at least with some of these movements, some of these decisions in this series. Obviously, they're in first place. I think they must have played it a lot better than this tonight to get there, would be my assumption. No shade on any of them or any of the other teams that may have fought. It's just obvious when teams feel a little disjointed, and seems to be happening here for TNC. But let's see what they can do. 16's on the horizon. With some soak top and middle, they may be able to grab it, but it seems like they're just heading bottom. Maybe Li-Ming thinking about it. I'll clear up the 1 minion. Maybe she'll go top. Okay, Ming's on top, 16 duty, Maltfield bottom. We have the Haragic Staff by Deckard. I really like this talent. It's actually my favorite Deckard talent. Really clean so far. Curious to see how they throw, right? But, you know, maybe the Draw Boys are tired of being the Draw Boys. And, but here's potential invade. 16's here, Maltfield's in here, but now there's a Chromie or Yorel. Could be interesting for TN6. Yeah, for TNC. They do have a turret and an emitter. This could go really badly for TNC, depending. The Mirror Ball, the Empower, Soul Collector, Epicenter, Bounty Hunter. No, they just decide to give it up. Not really worth it. I agree, it's not. You could throw here actually on the runboiz by forcing that fight. Could go well, could go terribly. It's just one turret, and they already have most of the point. So they're happy to just bully this. Force TNC to come to them. All the items, we'll see what happens. Both teams are posturing. These conveyor belts causing havoc. Combos will miss though. Nem's going in. Oh, massive damage though out from runboiz. Almost the entire team dead already. I'm not even sure what all that damage was. Chromie. It must have been a Chromie dunk. 2 dead already. Cassia does go down. Protector though. 2-for-1 trade. And Protector of course gone the way of the runboiz. Conveyor belts almost looked really bad for runboiz at the start of that engagement. Pulling Diablo away. But they dogpiled in Rexburg. That's a fat dunk. I'm pretty sure that's what that was. And just the health bars just disappeared. Must have been some Cassia poke too. Because she's not looking too shabby on that damage either. And of course the Diablo Lightning Breath. Keeps down for the runboiz, and they're almost 20. They could easily grab it in the middle. Looks like that's what they'll do. But they're kind of trickling here. And it is Chromie and Deckard, by the way, in this Protector. Not necessarily the targets you want. They could be in some trouble. There's no Cassia. Diablo's on the way up, though. Okay, they smartly back off, realizing if we pop out of the Protector here, we're probably losing 2. And that's a comeback window for TNC, at least temporarily. 20 on the horizon. TNC looking in a real bad spot. As they're about to be roughly 2.5 levels down still. After losing the last engage. 16-6, they're 10 kills behind. Still better than game 1. They have 2 stacks on the last rights. I must have missed one of those. They have the Word of Glory. So this is actually a really cool talent, by the way. If you're familiar with Dota, it's a little bit like Abaddon when he gets Aghanim Scepter. And uses his ult, like redirects damage. Damage it. No, it's like the reverse. This heals. Rather, anyway, it's cool. It's a neat idea. So we have the Titan's Revenge, haha, from Titan's King, Bottomless Flask, Piercing Sands, and of course, oh, Hellstorm on Diablo. He's just going all in and breathing the flames. It's the Keep Killer, the core rush talent. Or he'll just spit flames for like 12 seconds. How long is it? I think it's 12. It's like 10 to 12 seconds or something. With the Hellstorm. I should know this as someone who plays a lot of Diablo, but I don't because I never take the Hellstorm upgrade.
Titan's feeding again. How many? Is he up to 4 deaths? He's only up to 3. But they're winning. Siege camp taken here by TNC. We'll get a little, take out this tower at least. Give him a little XP. runboiz is kind of giving them space to get to 20. It's close. But the next protector is middle and it can march bottom and end. So runboiz have some time, but if they wait too long, TNC might get a shot at Storm Talents and a shot at... They're just throwing flasks everywhere. Camp's not up for 2 minutes, so they're just literally going to sit here for 2 minutes. I guess there's not too much else for them to do other than run it down mid or top. They are scouted here. There's only so many places TNC can actually soak, though. Obviously, top isn't safe. Middle, they can only step out so far, considering the positioning from the runboiz. Malthael was a ghost the whole time. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't like this Malthael pick. We talked about it, or I talked about it. Well, yeah, the draft. We, as in the chat, pointed out the squishiness, and they got an Executor too, but you know they have the damage from like this Ming Tyrande Rainer. I don't really need another assassin. Like, this is such a greedy draft. 3 assassins within an Uberac Tyrande, who's pseudo assassin support. Well, more support now. runboiz here will just finally get tired of sitting around on the camp. Take out some structures middle. Yeah, and as we've seen, he just can't do anything. He has to just wait for Uberac to go in. If Uberac hits targets, he can go. Or if he goes in and the Uberac combo plus teammate follow-up doesn't work out, just one of them just dies. It's just too one-note, too one-dimensional from TNC here tonight. Maybe they're just being experimental, because frankly, these games don't matter for them. And this could be why, something I didn't talk about. I touched on it earlier. I said their place wasn't threatened for playoffs. Okay, see, that was just, wait. Oh, 200%. See, for some reason I thought it said 100%, and I'm like, wait a minute, there's no way latent death is 6 seconds. I thought it was 4. Anyway, big combo out here on the Diablo. Yeah, he just pop, indeed he does. As Deckard, what am I saying? Dread would say, see you, nerd. That was a nice lance rate to execute. Diablo will be back. But, no souls. And storms are here. Have the runboiz waited too long? Netball being forced to heal, being poked out here. I didn't check the 20 upgrades. We have the no one can stop deaths. We have the quick res, the ice blade, Telrasha's rewind, execute. Speaking of the execute, they're going in here. They're getting the combos. Shredded Wind looking a little unhealthy here. Cassia goes down. Diablo goes down. It's 4 dead. Urel is healing. By the way, she took the healing ult for her team. I'm not sure what happened there. Can they clean up the Soramir? Indeed they can. Pops like a balloon. How did Cassia die? Or Tyrande, excuse me. I'm not sure what happened in the kill feed. Caster math, yeah. Apparently. I honestly thought it said 100% longer, but then I confused myself because I knew Lightning Breath wasn't 6-second base duration. But then I knew the upgraded ult was 12 seconds, so I was like, what's going on here? Sorry, guys. Not math stream. So we're all wondering how runboiz would throw. And I gotta say, Urel took Word of Glory and waited till her entire team was dead before using it. But of course, she needs to receive the healing for it to work on teammates. But healing received, it should work with her own healing, and I guess healing received by teammates. But there's a lot of skill shots flying around, right? There's arrows, there's Malthael ticks, there's Leaming damage and lasers. Like, there's ways for Urel to force the damage on her and heal her teammates. I'm not saying that's the sole reason they lost the fight, but it certainly didn't help. Of course, Diablo getting picked was the main issue. You know, they've been free to bully this whole time. Let's look at the Diablo souls. He's at 7 right now. They're still in a bad spot. Diablo normally, you know, reworked. Well, he's been reworked for a while now. He can stack souls a lot easier. It's less punishing. This is still pretty punishing. And Malthael has a free life with no one can stop death. Conversely, speaking of Malthael, it's Malthael Rainer in the Protector. Okay, because Leaming has the healing pulse. I feel like maybe Rainer out sieges better than Ming, just because of his Raider. They didn't go the upgraded Raider though, so So they're really all in on this kill with execute. Seems a little redundant considering they have last rights. I feel like they could have done something else, but Diablo here might be doing something else. He just might be dying. Indeed he is. Fire committer's out. Rel's trying to backline and gets webbed. Out came in pretty darn nice in the tornado from Deckard, honestly, but Rel might be in a lot of trouble here. Getting popped, getting stunned up. Both frontliners dead. No, the curse of the draw boys is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. As their frontliners are dead and TNC moves in onto the core, what looked like such a promising game from the Run Boys. They're ahead all game in levels, 2.5 levels. Nice Valkyrie here by Titan's King. Will pull the Rainer, maybe able to clean him up. No, gets the heal. Turret comes out. It's Taki Rexpin Titans versus the world. Right? There's no way to stop the core from dying at this stage of the game. They will take out Tyrande. It looks like they might clean up somebody. Nope. GG indeed, we have the draw. Yeah, she doesn't have Ball Lightning. She has Valkyrie and when Titan's Revenge. We'll peek at those talents here in just a moment. Yeah, Cassia into like the auto blind build, Q at 13. I actually really like this a lot. Oh no, this isn't what I thought she took. There's a percentage health damage on slowed targets, which feeds off Grounding Bolt if you want it. I don't even know what the upgraded Valkyrie ult does. Like, I should know, but I don't, because no one takes it, and I never take it. I'm usually more of a Ball Lightning guy, because Valkyrie was bugged for the longest time as well, right? So, I gotta say, Run Boys had this game. They had a 2.5 level lead. They were 20 when TNC was 17.5 or 18 max. I'm pretty sure it was 2.5 level, 2.25. And then they literally sat at the healer camp, whatever it's called, support camp, for like a minute, a straight minute, maybe even more. And then they decided, oh, I guess we'll run it down middle and do some damage. I don't know. The defense is decent from TNC, but they could have also just postured around the lanes, right? They could have prevented TNC from soaking that 20 as easily, well, quote-unquote easily, as they did. They just let them have too much room, I feel. Really. They could have at least moved around the map, restricted them in the base until the objective popped up. And I feel like they wouldn't have been 20 if they had made those moves. Or, you know, maybe they catch somebody out. You know, TNC was forced to split up trying to soak. Maybe they catch a target. You know, they have this pretty quick reach with the Diablo, long-range Deckard stuff. The Valkyrie, like, they have a decent amount of ways to try and catch people. Slowing Sands from Rexpa, you know, and Chromie. But they didn't try that either. You know, get a pick right before the objective. That'll, you know, death timers are what, 50, 60 seconds that stage of the game? Probably 50-ish for TNC. For sure they get that protector and just walking down bottom and end. Found a way to throw. So just a little strange decisions from the Run Boys. Maybe feeling too good, too cocky, not sure about that. Some of these late game moves. Diablo also, you know, they weren't. TNC also cleaned up the combo, like I was talking about. We saw it earlier being disjointed, a new rack going in, then, you know, then the team sort of following up a second or two later. But the last few fights, they nailed it, right? With that Diablo. Immediate stun, immediate arrow, mark, just full combo by everyone. Concentrated 5 hero energy. Pop goes the 100 soul Diablo. And of course the last rights execute was there as well. So a little just overestimating a few things from the Run Boys here. I'm not sure how this affects their playoff standings. Upgraded Valkyrie roots people getting bumped by the Valkyrie while it's pulling someone? Okay. Interesting. Much tank by Diablo. Who got all the kills? Cassia Rainer mostly. Who got all the dead? Rainer didn't die this game, by the way. Flawless victory for Netball 11. A lot of this 18 to 14 here, pretty much a bloodbath in the end. And remember, this was like 4 to. TNC got something like. Let me see. They got that 4-man. No, they got the full 5 wipe, I think. This was after 5 kills, and then they got 2 more 7. They were behind something like 18-7, 17-7. Yeah, they were crazy behind. It really caught up here at the end. Let's see if anyone's around for an interview. Ping both teams about an interview. Let's see here. Imprisoning Light. Upon impaling a hero, Cassia creates a wave of light that deals 200 damage to nearby enemies and reads them for 3 seconds. Pretty interesting. Okay. So TNC unavailable for they're going right away into a VOD review for themselves, like the tryhards they are. But hey, makes sense. I mean, I would do that. Game 1 was just basically a disaster. Game 2 came close to being a disaster, but whew, last 2 minutes, TNC would have dropped a 3 seed with loss. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. I said it wouldn't affect their chances for playoffs, but I didn't talk about the possibility of dropping the seed. And if they're a 3rd seed, then they fight the 6th seed in the playoffs, which ironically could be the Run Boys. That would be really funny, by the way. If they got 2-0'd in that guaranteed Run Boys the 6th place spot. I don't know if it does, or if they already are guaranteed. I'd have to talk to them. And then they faced off again. That would be really funny, because I'm doing a lot of the Stormdiv playoff casting, so that'd be entertaining. Let me see. Trying to.
Ripper, hello?
Hey.
Hey,
So we do have
sorry.
somebody. I thought maybe it was he just going for VOD review, or your whole team. I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, yeah. We were talking about stuff, but yeah.
I'm trying to get Taki in here of Run Boys, because I like to do dual interviews. It's my
Sure.
thing.
Taki's my boy.
Yeah, Taki's great. Oh. Oh, okay. No, he's unavailable. He's I don't even know why he's talking to me. He's driving or something.
Oh, God.
Said anyway, he's on his way to a family dinner. Have nice dinner. Okay, all right. Well, no Run Boys. I might call them the Throw Boys, because they were looking like a 2-0 there. I gotta say, TNC was on the ropes. Major comeback. Let's talk about game 1 first.
Yeah,
But
sure.
give me a second. I don't think I've interviewed you before. I don't think I've actually interviewed any of the TNC guys. I know Nem, so could you, maybe you've answered this to other casters, but I don't believe I've asked you. So could you take a minute to just drop a quick note about like your team history, in NGS, things like that, in TNC,
Yeah,
if you
so
please?
team name change started last season, and we had a completely different roster. The only 2 members still from there is Kawhi and I. Um, going into this season, we still had like a different roster from now, and then I think it was I don't know 3 weeks ago, maybe a month now. I don't know exactly, but we did a big roster change, so we're pretty fresh as a team, to be honest with you. So we have Satad
Okay.
on, yeah, we have Satad on support now, as you kind of saw. He's coming from like those guys, with like Treebeard and all them. He's with us now. Nem Avenger is still with us. He didn't start the last season with us, but he joined us now.
Yeah.
Our new member is Hunter CJ. He's our tank player now,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so we're coming together. We're still freshly new, and we're still trying to like work out like what we like to run, how we're doing it, synergy, comms. So there's a lot of stuff that we're still working on as a team.
Oh, okay. So, okay, that was because that was confusing me a little bit. I saw some weirdness going on in these games, and but you guys are basically first place or tied for first place. I'm not sure which. So, is that did you just get all your rankings before the team switch, or are you just that good that even with figuring stuff out, you're on top? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, so honestly, we used about 3/4 of this NGS season for tryouts. So we don't like this most. I think we only played like 4 games, maybe 5 with the full roster now. I don't. The numbers escaping me, but
So this is just your
yeah,
basic form. Your final form's coming when you're gonna destroy all life.
yeah. Hopefully,
All right,
next
well, that's
open.
I mean that's exciting
Yeah,
because you're on top here already in Storm Div, full of good teams, good players. Things look a little rough. You drove tonight, nearly got 2-0'd, but you came back when it counted, and that's also the mark of a good team, recognizing when you can make these comebacks in the games. Um, but yeah, that's cool. I wasn't expecting that answer from you about the team history. That's really interesting to know. I know Nem Avenger from Victoria's Secret days. I used to coach them season 4, and of course I like to follow players that I
yeah. Of
like, and of
course.
course TNC seems like a bunch of cool guys as well. So happy to cast here. Someone in chat said you would have dropped a 3rd seed with a loss, but again, you're in playoffs for sure, so no worries. But
Yeah, we weren't stressing too much.
yeah, that's what occurred to me towards the end of game 2, and I even said it at the very beginning. I was like, this won't affect their playoff standings no matter what. But then I realized, like, oh yeah, they can just honestly goof around if they want, and it doesn't. Maybe they'll drop a spot or two if they get 2-0'd, but you're still guaranteed to be playoffs. So I was like,
Of
oh
course.
yeah, that takes the pressure off, right? There's no we have to do this, we have to win. We can just work on our team synergy and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Right.
like the biggest thing. Because honestly, today, I can safely say this is one of the worster games that we had in a long time. So
I assumed that as well, and if you watch the if you watch the VOD, I say something somewhere in the middle of game 2. I'm like, I assume they've played better than this particular series to get to the top of the div. I'm pretty sure they're just having like sort of a funny series tonight. You know,
yeah,
something a little disjointed. That's all. Because I think I've only seen you play maybe once before, and I don't remember what it was because I'm terrible on my memory. But yeah, but that's all right. Teams are allowed to flex and grow and shift, and especially when you're this heavily experimenting, things are bound to be. This is a great idea. You get in the game and realize, oh wait, maybe it's not.
exactly.
Kind
Yeah,
of like game 1, maybe.
yeah. We're trying stuff out.
I thought it was interesting. Abathur makes a lot of sense on TOD, but then like this Maiev opener, I was like, huh, what are they doing with this Maiev? And then okay, full melee team. Um,
Yeah, honestly, I think the biggest thing we just kind of screwed ourselves in the draft the first game, and we just didn't play around like our comp, I guess, well, because we had like a weird comp, and they had like a lot of room to counterpick us,
right.
and so we kind of just messed ourselves up in draft. I think that was the biggest mistake. And then when we got to game, we weren't really like all on the same page and like knowing what to do, when to do, like times. So we were all kind of like all over the place, so to speak.
Right. Yeah, I was expecting a little more maybe coordinated aggro which is kind of the only thing a draft could do. But hey,
And they had good counter engage.
they did indeed. Both
Yeah.
games. This Valkyrie off Cassia was getting a lot of picks both games. The Decatur course, I think it went Lornado both games as well. Annoying things like that to reposition you guys.
Yeah.
So what was game 2 like? You're kind of not looking great, but they gave you all this space to hit 20, and then you see a Diablo lurking on the edge of the point, and you just go for it. Did everyone shout like "murder, murder, Diablo"? Get the
Yeah,
pick, go
basically. So
go.
throughout the game, comms are weird in terms of focusing and knowing what to do and like how to play our comp. And then near the end, we played it right, just pretty much just murder the front line, and that's kind of what we did. We saw Diablo out for a second, and we just capitalized that completely. And then I think this fight snowballed from there because once I just needed to get resets once, and then I pretty much just helped finish up like the rest of their team, so to speak.
Yeah, the rest of them died pretty quick. Diablo goes down, quick reses, team kind of backs off, and then you go in, clean up 3. Of course, Urel lives to the last because Urel. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and suddenly you have a full team wipe, and wow. And then you clean
yeah,
up
it
the
was a
front
hard
line
fight too.
again, bottom
I'm
with the
pretty sure they
push.
all had
And
items. I think they all had items. I
yeah,
don't.
I believe there was a
Yeah, there was. Both teams had items, but things happened quick, so I didn't necessarily keep track of that myself. But before the fight started, I noticed items on both teams for sure.
Yeah.
I think both sides had a healing pulse, or maybe they just had a healing pulse. Oh no,
Yeah, I
they
think
had
they.
it and you stole it maybe because I saw it on you at some point pushing bottom. Not on you, on the Li Ming, whoever the Li Ming was.
Uh, yeah. So
That
what
was you, yeah.
happened is, we killed them, wiped everything, and then we took a turret and we took support camp because both were up,
Oh, that's
and
what
then we used
happened.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
I forgot that step. Okay, there was this really funny moment when you guys were taking the support camp early, and Tronda kept trying to pick it
Oh,
up and failed, and the Diablo comes in and steals it.
so part of the reason we wanted a VOD review is because Satat was trying to click it, and I heard him click it. Like he was clicking like very loudly, and something just didn't happen. Like I don't know if it just didn't register or just maybe something was weird or something, but it didn't. I don't know the input. I don't know what happened, but it didn't pick it up, and then that kind of snowballed the fight to their favor. To be honest
Yeah,
with
because
you.
they got 10 off of it, I think, as well, off the one, off of something. Yeah, that was odd.
Yeah.
There's been the items on Volskaya, I think, are notoriously weird interaction-wise. Not necessarily with picking them up, but there's been all sorts of bugs over the last year. You know, if you're a frequent redditor,
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
notice like weird Volskaya bug this and item bug that, and so not that. So I saw her there. She was like hovering. I'm like, wait, why isn't she picking up? She's trying to pick it up. Oh no,
Yeah, and
you're
he's like screaming, "Why isn't it going up? Why isn't it going up?" I'm like,
Yeah, it was a super feels bad, man. Kind of got whatever you call it, debated by the game, jinxed by the game engine,
Yeah.
game codes, and Blizzard, please. But obviously, yeah, really nice. I like the execution at the end. And that was really my only
Thank
one
you.
comment. Like, if they can clean up this Anubrak dive into the backline combo, they should get their kills. Because we saw it once or twice in the early points. Anubrak was kind of too far ahead. He gets picked off first. Follow up doesn't really happen the way you want it. But in the end there, he just, chop, really clean, really nice.
Yeah, we
Uh,
just did horror. Like honestly, we did bad. Like it's not much to comment on because to be honest with you, I think we played the game horribly until like the last fight, like the last major fight,
In
and
the
that's
last
where
like
we
two
kind of
minutes, you were just 100% fire. Before that, it was little bit up and
little rough.
down.
Yeah,
Not less fire. Let's say.
less fire.
No, but really, really nice. What are you guys looking forward to moving into playoffs?
We're looking. So I think a lot of the kind of the order of who we're playing against is still up to what the wild card tournament.
Right.
Yeah, because what we're second place now, I think, and that's kind of set or first or
I'm not sure because I'm also
the
unclear
whole.
if the like tournament standings are actually 100% updated because sometimes they're delayed.
Yeah,
We'll know
me. Yeah,
by
same.
like wildcard weekend, I think, who stands
Yeah.
where.
So no matter what, I think we're versing a wild card team. So
Seven
we
or
don't really
eight,
have
right?
we don't have much to look on towards that. But there's some big teams that we're looking out for. I think some honestly the games that we lost, I think we all played like as a team we didn't play well. So I'd like to see going into it, when we're all better, seeing how things kind of come together and how we play against them. So I think the playoffs are going to be good. I think Storm. This is probably the best competition I think that like the top division had in a while. There's a
I
lot of
would
good
say
teams.
so. Yeah, you guys, of course, Amusement Park, Trademark Gaming, FWC, like top four runners, all looking really strong, pulling out, a lot of good games, a lot of points. These top four, yeah, it'll be cool, and of course, fun for you guys, sort of feel out your power level. Once things come together a little more on the teamwork and all that jazz. Yeah, I'm sure you guys will have
Yeah.
a blast, and I hope I get to cast you. I am doing a lot of the playoff casting for Storm.
Oh, awesome.
I'm also doing the grand finals for Storm casting, I believe, with Ghost Dunk, unless it's Gravesville. It's one of the G's. I'm bad with names. I think it's Ghost, though. I'm pretty sure we're already set for doing Storm finals, so hopefully we'll see you
We'll
there
see you there.
in your evolved form, after working your way through the playoffs. Yeah, so really appreciate the interview, and any last shout outs before I let you go?
Yeah, so shout out to you. Thank you for picking up our game. I know like the whole casting thing is so many teams right now, and it's a real pleasure for I think this is like one of our few casts that we had as a team with you, Ripper. So we really do appreciate you picking up our game and casting it.
Absolutely, super fun. You guys put on a great series. It was just fun. Game
Yeah,
2 was really exciting. Even chat was like so much blood in the first 5 minutes. There's I think 10 plus kills, which is a little for Storm. It's not that common
crazy.
necessarily, right? I've seen like 60 kill games in Div D or whatever, but it doesn't really
Yeah,
happen in Storm. So yeah, crazy, super fun series, and So yeah, good luck moving into the playoffs, and hope to see you there.
Thank you. Catch you later.
Yeah, have a good one. Metball from TNC interviewed here. Every the Run Boys were not available. The rest of TNC, they're set in second. Says Axin56. Thank you. Yeah, he said that, but just I wasn't sure, so appreciate you confirming that. Good to know. Set in second, so they're fighting the seventh place wildcard team. Well, whoever makes the playoffs will be seventh place playoff team. I think only something like 4 teams have signed up for. Last I checked, which frankly was 24 hours ago, had signed up for Wildcard Weekend in Storm. So, how many teams are there technically? There's 13 teams, but then you're minusing the 6. So we have, what, another 6? Top 6 are in 7. Yeah, math is hard apparently for me. So we have 7 potential teams in Wildcard. I kind of feel like Send Noodles is unlikely to enter, but you never know. We'll see. I don't know. Bobo probably has the updated numbers, or somebody that isn't me. I know there's a sheet somewhere with, who's signed up and everything. I'll have to have a peek at that. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for showing up. Thank you to, I think it was Gravesville for the raid. And thank you to the teams here putting on a fun series tonight. Nice 1-1 in the end. Runboiz versus TNC. Of course, we're moving into Wildcard Weekend. Keep your eye on that. There'll be a lot of great stuff this Saturday. Don't know the exact time. Probably afternoon, evening. And, I'm East Coast, so don't know the West Coast time. And, of course, the following week, looking towards playoffs, should be really hype the next 2 weeks for NGS here. That was, I believe, the Zaward player for TNC who just followed me. I much appreciate that. Satat Hots, I assume that's you. Pretty sure it is. Was there any other follows? Did I miss anything? I don't think so. Just the one. If you enjoyed the cast, please do drop a follow. Helps me out on the follower count. I think I am slightly over 200 now, which is pretty insane, actually. Other than my casting, I do coach stuff / community coach work. It's always fun for anyone to drop by and just, theory craft, talk game stuff, get their eyes on the game, see what they think. I've had some really fun sessions Saturday mornings and stuff like that. So if you want to hear me yak about the game at some point, a couple times a week, also drop a follow and you'll be able to catch me there. So thank you very much, everyone. Good luck, have fun out there in the Nexus, and have a great night.